Hi everybody and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine. Mark, let's chat about New Zealand. Everybody seems to think that they're miles ahead of us. Now, I'm one of those people that believes that they do have an advantage with the whole COVID situation in this country, but I don't think that they're miles ahead of us. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think people are forgetting in the euphoria of this incredible competition, because it's been very tightly, the contests are so tight. New Zealand, strength versus strength, was always going to produce quite a spectacle for us with capacity crowds. But I think they've got two very good teams, one so-so team and two pretty mediocre teams.
The Chiefs and the Highlanders.
Yeah, they aren't the very good ones at the moment. And our strongest teams on form, and this was shown pre-COVID shutdown. I mean, the Stormers hammered the Hurricanes here, shut them out 27-0. The Sharks were impressive. We've got good rugby teams at the moment and a very strong professional player base, and we won the World Cup in 2019. We just need to remind people, in our absence, we haven't got necessarily any weaker. I think enjoy watching Super Rugby Aotearoa for what it is. It's great rugby, but we'd be prejudiced if we played it now because of lack of conditioning, lack of player preparation.
How long will it take us to get? How long will it take us to get up to speed?
3.5 years, Kev. And we will be peaking for the next World Cup. No, we'll be there by next season in terms of a provincial competition, and we are going to be on the back foot when it comes to if we do play in the Rugby Championship. To take a miracle for us to be successful, given the season, but that's not going to be definitive of our strength at the moment. It's again this putting New Zealand rugby on a pedestal. Why? You know, if we were playing a domestic strength versus strength competition because we didn't have COVID in this country and it was 40,000 people watching it, they may look at us and say, wow, look at the Bulls playing against the Stormers. The quality of that rugby is so good. So always acknowledge the Crusaders are a bloody good side. The Blues have improved. You know, you asked a couple of weeks ago, are they the real deal? We thought maybe a 60, 70-minute team, but they have come back well from that defeat against the Crusaders, and I thought they were very good in dismantling the Highlanders in this past weekend. But yeah, it's nothing for us to get petrified about again. I don't think there's a hell of a lot to choose between the best South African 23 and the best New Zealand 23. There would be a score in it.
Yeah, I agree with you. What do you think of this weekend's rugby? Do you think the Crusaders will win the title this weekend?
Yeah, they play at home against the Highlanders. The Blues have the bye, which is ideally you'd want somehow the Highlanders to knock them over, and it comes down to next weekend's match at Eden Park, which will be a capacity crowd, and it would be a kind of final because there's no final being played here. Whoever wins top of the table takes the title. But they came back well from that thriller against the Hurricanes, where they were edged 34-32. I thought they were clinical and a class above Gats Chiefs. They knocked them over quite comfortably in Hamilton, and and a very good performance from Sam Whitelock, his 150th game, player of the match, and Richie Mahunga playing well again. But the person that I've really enjoyed watching in the last couple of weeks has been Beauden Barrett back at fly-off. And you see him play fly-off, you think, how the hell did anyone put him at fullback and for 80 minutes? If you're going to accommodate him and Mahunga, you put Mahunga on the bench, you play Beauden Barrett, and when it's not going that well with goal kicking or something, you have the luxury of sticking him at fullback and bringing Mahunga on. But he just brings an added dimension to any attack playing at 10. And not the traditional Dan Carter type fly-off, but athletically, not a better fly-off in the world than him.
No, and we've talked about it several times, why they haven't been utilizing it at his best position. And I agree. The Crusaders will be crowned deserved champions on the weekend.
Yeah, and another title for Scott Robinson, and we keep on saying it. Thank God he's not coaching the All Blacks.
And how about he has to get chirp of the week, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposedly every try that's scored against the Chiefs this season apparently is controversial, as Gat says afterwards.
Yeah.
And he was insistent it wasn't a try when they asked Scott Robinson, the reporter. He said it was definitely a try. He said, how can you be so emphatic? He said, the ball went backwards. He said, well, I have a different view. I thought it went forward. And he said, thank God you weren't refereeing it then.
Yeah.
So wonderful chirps. And I just like that guy. And I like his character, his persona. And I think an All Black side with him would have had some rich personality. I don't see that happening under Foster. And yeah, I think New Zealand, we traditionally get those kind of ones wrong. We keep on saying it on the show. New Zealand certainly got that one wrong.
Yeah. Time will tell or prove us right. Time will prove us right, I think, on that as Foster takes over the reins and coaches New Zealand.
Yeah, and Robinson continues to just build that dynasty down in Christchurch. Another title, you know, he won the NPC domestic title 3 in a row, Super Rugby. He turned New Zealand's under 20s around, and now Super Rugby Aotearoa. They may only ever play one of this tournament, and it will be his as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gats, poor Gats, I said it could be a disastrous tour, the Lions tour for him. The pressure's mounting.
The pressure is mounting on Gats because he'd like to get a win. He's not going to get a win this weekend either. I think they'll take a beating against the Hurricanes away from home. And I think he'll be happy just to get out of there. I see he's been starting to do a lot of his interviews around the Lions tour, talk that Stuart Lancaster may come on board as one of his coaches. So I think his focus is certainly shifted to the north and to 2021 South Africa, the big challenge.
Well, you know, I hate to look a year or make predictions a year down the line, but my feeling is that the Lions will get whitewashed here against a strong Bok team, especially against a tactical genius as Rassie is. Where to then from Gatland? So say 0-9, 0-9 from Super Rugby, 0-3 from a Lions. Hasn't his stock then diminished? And that's what I mean by disastrous.
He'll go back to New Zealand because he's still got a contract till 2023 with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then hope to God he can get them on track in 2022. And
well, the stakes just get higher, don't they? Because
yeah.
if he has a disastrous tour with the Lions, it's been a disastrous his first season with the Chiefs. He'll go from being one of the most revered coaches in the world to down to Peter de Villiers level.
Yeah, I don't think quite that. I don't think ever could get down to that level. But the margins are smaller because we all remember this magnificent 15-all draw at Eden Park. But New Zealand had a kick in the last minute of in injury time from the kickoff. They awarded the penalty and then it was overturned by the touch judge. And we drew 15-all. Had they kicked that and it gone over, he would have won 4 out of 10 on that tour. So the fact that he won, that they got that draw and that win against a 14-man New Zealand when Sonny Bill Williams was sent off in the 20th minute does cloud a bit the kind of tour it was because they did struggle in a lot of games over there. Yeah. So the reverence that they got a drawn series in New Zealand has just kind of stayed there. No one's dug deeper into the mechanics of that tour. So he certainly needs, Australia you would take that they would knock them over. They were so much more powerful. For him to go down as one of the greats in terms of Lions coaches, he's got to get something in this tour, and I don't see it happening either. I'm with you. I think the Springboks will be very good. Jacques Nienaber and Rassie will continue to work as they worked, even though Jacques is the one that's kind of the Bok coach in front in the media, and that there will be a hell of a lot of strategic input from Rassie. And it's going to be a magnificent occasion, those 8 matches, but I really feel the world champion Springboks will do this country and do themselves proud. Absolutely.
I think that Gatland will be lucky to win 4 matches on tour.
So who you say is going to, who the 4 wins going to be against? Dobbo! Do we count the Stormers there?
I'll give you that prediction next year.
Okay, great. Anyway,
thanks for coming in, Mark. Appreciate you.
Always a pleasure. Thanks.